Greetings, friends. Today for our midweek message, I want to share with you some thoughts on faith. Have you at times wrestled with your faith in God? The Bible makes some rather heavy statements about faith. The writer of Hebrews says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. That's Hebrews 11:6. Reading that could be enough for some of us to throw up our hands in despair, lamenting, I guess there's no hope for me. Then someone reminds you of Romans 14:23, where the last portion of the verse says, whatever is not of faith is sin. Now you really want to give up. So what can I do? Where can I find hope and encouragement? A few months ago, Pastor Michael asked our team of elders to read a book by Henry Cloud entitled Trust. The first subtitle of the first chapter in bold letters begins, everything depends on trust. Some Bible references to the word faith I looked up in my Strong Concordance, and it suggests that the word trust can be used while preserving the meaning of the text. And for me, the word trust is much easier to understand. Trust is more than a feeling. Merriam-Webster defines trust as a noun: assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone. And the Cambridge Dictionary defines trust as a verb: to believe someone is good and honest and will not harm you. In other words, they are safe and reliable. Henry Cloud defines trust as having 5 essentials. And I suggest to you that if these 5 essentials work for developing trust between us as human beings, then they may also be helpful in learning to trust or have faith in our Heavenly Father. So for the first essential, being understood, what evidence do I have that God actually understands me? Let's look up Psalm 139. It begins, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You knew my sitting down and my rising up, and you understand my thoughts from far off. You compass my path and my lying down and are acquainted with all my ways. And you can keep on reading. That's a wonderful chapter. You may also recall some very personal ways that God has demonstrated that He knows and understands you individually. The second essential of trust is to know the other person has your best interest at heart, that their motive is positive and not selfish. Again, applying this to God, what evidence do I have that God is watching out for me? I thought of Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for good and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. And what other personal evidences do you recall of ways that you have seen God's care for you? The third essential is ability. Someone may understand me and actually be able or capable of helping me, but are they really? Are they able to help me in my area of need? A Bible reference that comes to mind here is Philippians 4:19. My God will supply all your needs according to His riches through Jesus Christ. Then also God, through the prophet Malachi, challenges us to put Him to the test and see if He will not open the windows of heaven and pour out more blessings than you can possibly receive. How have your needs been provided for? Not just in the distant past, but how about recently? The fourth essential of trust is character. Our God has been accused by Satan of trying to buy our loyalty. He plays favorites. Read about that accusation in the first chapter of Job, verses 9 through 11. Also in the garden, he insinuated that God is withholding information that could help us in reaching a higher functional and spiritual level. Is Satan correct in his representation of the Creator? Or is God's self-revelation adequate to reassure me and you of the character traits that we consider essential to trust? Has God simply demanded our trust, or has he demonstrated over time in a multitude of circumstances that, in addition to dealing with us ethically and morally, he is also not defensive? He eagerly engaged with Abraham when Abraham pleaded for the people of Sodom in Genesis 18:22 and 23. Then there's the fact that Jesus became one of us. Read in Philippians 2:6 through 8, how he humbled himself. There are other character traits as well. Does God grandstand for no reason? Or would he rather speak in a still, small voice, as he did to Elijah in the cave? And now we come to the fifth essential of trust: track record. If I am going to trust God, has he left evidence of his trustworthiness? What of the trial of miracles that Jesus left as he walked back and forth across Judea, Galilee, and Samaria? Are those evidences? Our Creator acknowledges that trust is earned. In Psalm 34, verse 8, he says through David the songwriter, "Taste and see that the Lord is good." The longer you are in a relationship with a trustworthy friend, the stronger that trust becomes. Jesus invites us, "Come to me, you who are weary, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. Also, in Ezekiel 36:26, he says, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove the heart of stone and provide you with a divine donor heart." When you feel that your faith is weak, review these essentials of trust. Does God understand? Are his motives for my good? Is he capable of helping me? Is his character consistently trustworthy? And what is the track record that he has left? When we understand that faith equals trust, it now makes sense that God cannot be pleased when we don't trust him. And no matter what wonderful ways we help others on the pathway of life, if I distrust the life giver, I paint a distorted picture of God, which leads others away rather than toward him. No wonder Paul says, trusting God is absolutely essential. So friends, taste and see for yourself.